I'm Dan, and I've worked for Dad Matters for over a year and a half now. I started off working in pubs and restaurants from when I left school. When I got to the age of 21, I met my partner, who had a son who was 18 months old at the time. We moved in together quite quickly, and I became a dad in a short space of time. That kind of day-to-day responsibility at the age of 21 came as a bit of a shock. I carried on working in pubs and restaurants, and then we had Eliza, who's now 5. I was getting home late, being up in the night with a little one, getting up early. I wanted to do as much as I could as a dad, but it was so hard working the long hours that I did. Then Frankie was born, and she's now 4. When Frankie was born, I had my paternity leave, and as soon as I went back to work, my mental health just deteriorated. I'm a recovering gambling addict, so at that point I was in recovery. I hadn't had a bet for a few years. The pressures of everything, returning back to work, my coping mechanism was to gamble again. The consequences from that were quite catastrophic, really. It's really damaging, gambling. It goes a lot under the radar. This time around, I really felt like I'd let people down. I've got a 3-week-old daughter at home with another young one, a stepson, and wife at home. I was constantly just trying to chase what I'd lost. I ended up losing everything that I had within 2 or 3 days. I didn't want to talk about it and ended up trying to take my own life. My first experiences of dealing with mental health professionals wasn't the greatest, to be honest. I was told to go home and Google what services were available in my local area. I came home and life was pretty grim. My wife was nothing but supportive, but even me just being at home was difficult. The noise of small children, it was bloody tough. I had guilt. I thought it was such a burden. I should be there for my kids, and here I am trying to take my own life. Looking back now, I realise I was just very, very unwell. I just went through a massive cycle, really. I didn't stay well long enough to access therapy or any support. Every few months I'd go back into crisis again, and medication just numbed me. I tried to take my own life again. I ended up as an inpatient on a mental health ward, and that was a changing point for me. I realised that it had to come from me, to feel better and improve my mental health. I came out and joined a local men's mental health group. It was a singing group, and I realised that not every man wanted to sing, so I set up a football group for them. Within 6 months, we had between 150 and 200 blokes playing a week, and we ended up winning some awards, and we weren't even a year old. We had conversations about mental health that wouldn't have probably happened before. It was almost like giving each other permission to talk about things. That's how I found out about Dad Matters, and how similar the ethos is, just to talk about lived experiences. In October 2020, I started working for them. I had, and still have, massive imposter syndrome. I'd never been a support worker before. All I'd known was pubs and restaurants. I soon realised it's because I'm a dad with similar experiences. That's why I'm here to do the job. I felt like I'd be having such an impact with something that would really have benefited me when I had my children. I've turned these negative experiences into something positive for other dads to benefit from. I can support other dads just by being another dad. Seeing some of the dads go on to become volunteers, that's one of the best things about my time at Dad Matters. What I found working with dads is that they want to be involved. We just don't know where we fit sometimes. Looking back, I think it's highly likely that I did experience postnatal depression. If I'd had Dad Matters when I had my kids, I think my experiences would have been really, really different.